it's it's very difficult for some people to grasp the notion, to grasp the notion of how Sean Diddy Combs has been and is critical to and a part of the Ghislaine Maxwell case. When I tell people this, they say, "Oh God, don't confuse the two. Confuse the two. They're almost identical." And the reason why it is simply this. First of all, you have a president who is extremely um, sympathetic as to the plight of what is going on involving what he calls and we call lawfare. That is the idea of involving yourself with a group of folks who, what's the word, who are using the specifics of law to get back at someone, to get back at them in a way that is unfair. Okay? And they believe, and I believe, and many people believe, that what is happening right now, why this is critical, is that President Trump has figured out that he's kind of like seeing the plight of these individuals through his own eyes, if that makes any sense. I think it makes sense. I hope it makes sense. At least I hope it makes sense to you. What's even more important to understand is that everybody, I think in this particular part of our lives, realizes that we have never been so collectively aware of what we believe to be rampant corruption on the part of this government. We are seeing it in areas and in ways we never thought even remotely possible. We are seeing it everywhere. And we saw it up front and personal with President Trump. We saw it with him and we thought, my God, if this can happen to him, this can happen to anybody, right? That's kind of what we thought. That was the way it worked. And the way that I thought most people considered it to be true. Now, what do we do about that? What does he do about it? What does anybody do about that? Let me see if this explains how it works. The president, and by the way, if you can hear me, if you can give me a plus, can you hear me? Just curious. Can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Can I get a 5 by 5? I'm a little tenuous right now. I've got 2 windows. There we go. Stephen hears me. There we go. Thank you, Steve Areno. Thank you for that. See, Stephen was there. Ultra says, "Hey." I don't know what that means. But thank you. It's all that matters. What's really important is that Ghislaine Maxwell basically is going to be made some kind of a deal through Trump. And one of the things that Trump will do, one of the reasons why, is he will make sure that Ghislaine Maxwell says nothing about him, nothing about his particular plight, nothing about his involvement in, and by the way, let's stop with this nonsense about a list. Can we, once and for all, ladies and germs, get rid of this lunacy regarding a list? There is no list. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is no list where Trump's name appears on a list. I know this may shock you. I know you might say, wait a minute, hold on, that's not what I'm telling you. The mafia doesn't have a list. Now, there is this thing called a book or a black book. But everybody and anybody went and appeared and went with Epstein to his homes, to his various places. He was there. He absolutely positively was there. And I don't know how to say this any other way than to say he was there, they were there, up to and including, and this is important, up to and including people like, how do I say this? People like Ethel Kennedy, and others. So remember, there is no list. The list doesn't occur. But if Trump is smart, and I think he is, what he will do is, believe it or not, have it so that she will mention everybody under the sun that she might have been a part of, and she will eventually get her sentence commuted. And Trump will look at you and say, I don't give a damn whether you like it or not. I don't care whether it is offensive to you. And the next one in line who's going to walk is Diddy. And I'll tell you one thing, which is the most important part about Diddy. I don't care whether you like him or not. It doesn't matter. It could not possibly. And by the way, she is not going to be unlived. You know that, right? She is probably the safest person ever. If anything happens to her, especially now, even that will finally say, okay, now you've gone too far. Now you've gone too far. Okay? You got that? Okay, good. Now let me explain something to you. Diddy was not a pimp. Diddy did not collect women for purposes of, how do I say this? He did not take women unto his own for purposes of prostitution. What he did was to put on freak-off parties and a variety of different things, but it wasn't as a pimp. So if he brought women across state lines to his parties, it wasn't for purposes of prostituting them. It was to make them available for his own sex parties, as Hugh Hefner did and others as well. Get it through your head. This may bother people, and I know it hates certain commentators. They hate him. They're calling him everything, and he's not a trafficker, so says the jury. He's not an organized crime, so said the jury, and he's not any kind of a racketeer, so said the jury. The only thing left are these two stupid cases, and the judge should say, "Look, there's no evidence he was a pimp or they were prostitutes. Do you think these women want to be called prostitutes? Do you? I don't think so. I don't think it makes sense to me. I don't think they would particularly care if that's what you called them, if that was what you referred to them as. So what I'm saying is, laugh as you want, my friends. Laugh as you want. Disregard this. You may think, oh, he beat the federal government at racketeering. Something is so wrong with this case. I don't know. How do I say this? I don't know what the words are, but there's something so incredibly wrong. Whether it's Comey through it, Maureen Comey, I don't know. I can pretend I know. I can say these things to you. I can pretend like I know all these facts, but I really don't know. I'm kind of like you on this. None of this makes any sense. None of it. So what I want you to do is I want you to understand and look at this, and also look at how President Trump might look at this. President Trump may look at this and say, you know what? What they're doing to him, they kind of did to me. This isn't fair. This is a guy who was very important. He was big. He was I don't think he was a billionaire, but he was up there. He made a lot of money, as did I, and now he is hated because of that. And I can kind of relate to an extent. Let me just also say something. The very fact that Liam Neeson is in a remake of Naked Gun is, to me, I know this has nothing to do with legal matters, but it absolutely, positively is so incredibly blasphemous compared to the great Leslie Nielsen. And would somebody please do me a favor and stop with this nonsense story about how Pamela Anderson and Liam Neeson somehow are a couple. Stop it. Just stop it. God, I hate the lying. This is why I hate Hollywood. I hate these people. You don't understand. I despise them. I despise them because they can't tell the truth. They just can't do it. They lie about everything. They lie about relationships. They lie about crime. They lie about their talent. They lie about everything. They even lie about relationships that they pretend to maintain in order to get this across. In any event. So, my friends, do me a favor. Do me a great favor. Pay close attention to what we're seeing right now. Epstein is pulling the strings from someplace, maybe from some dark and dank and horrible world. I don't know. But what we are seeing right now is something so incredible. It's like nothing I've ever even imagined possible. So do not be surprised, my friend. Do not be surprised if you see two people actually walk out of prison. Two people. Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell would be commuted, her sentence commuted. She'll move back to the UK. She'll never say anything again for her family's benefit. She'll be able to, I guess, perhaps maybe enjoy some form of success later on with the millions she invariably has had deposited in Cayman Island accounts. I have no idea. She kept her mouth shut. She was a good soldier. Watch what happens to her. It's going to be very important and very critical to watch. Very, very critical. Epstein's pulling some strings. Epstein was the gift that kept on giving. Do not be surprised. I'm hearing from a lot of folks, not any of my Tampa friends, but from my government friends, that Pam Bondi is basically just sidelined, sucker punched. She didn't know what hit her. She is just paralyzed. And she's feigning all kinds of corneal this or that, or I don't know. She screwed things up so badly, so powerfully, so poorly. It's hard to even put into perspective. And you're right. Can you believe this shit? It is unreal, my friends. Let me also remind you, I want you to please go to my beloved's YouTube channel of Lynn's Warriors. What she is doing is without peer. Lynn's Warriors, subscribe. Look at the good that she is doing. She is going to be appearing before the Attorney General of Virginia. She is going to be speaking again at the White House, at Washington, all over the country. Fundraisers for not Lynn's Warriors alone, which we entreat you to support, but other organizations as well. Too early for Trump to shit can her. I don't know, Stephen. I don't know. I think it might be for the president's best. It might be in his best interest to do so because he might realize that she's going to be a roadblock. Better to get this out of the way and move on. Get somebody who knows what they're doing. And it also shows leadership. Remember, what's Trump's big line? You're fired. We're used to him firing people. When somebody can't cut the mustard, that's it. No hard feelings. Move on. It's that simple. So we'll see what happens. All right, dear friends. Happy August to you. Remember, this is the year of my birth. This is the month of my birth, of the celebration. And all across the country, there'll be marching bands and children and hot dogs and rallies to enjoy and to celebrate my birth, and especially the chance for you to recognize what I've done to you, for you, and on you to change your life permanently and for the better. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And until we meet again, my friends, remember these final words. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.